In a remote geologically volatile valley hidden within the rugged landscape of the Middle East, a team of high-level archaeologists and geological surveyors recently broke through a seal that hasn't seen the sun in over 3,000 years. For centuries, the tomb of King Solomon was the ultimate holy grail of ancient history, a mystery wrapped in a legend and buried under layers of biblical myth. People thought it was just a story, a metaphor for wisdom and wealth that didn't actually exist in the physical world. But as the heavy stone doors finally yielded to modern hydraulic equipment, the experts shifted from professional excitement to total unshielded shock. What they found inside wasn't just gold or ancient scrolls. They discovered a subterranean complex that defies our understanding of ancient engineering, housing artifacts that appear to be thousands of years ahead of their time. This isn't just an archaeological find. It is a fundamental challenge to everything we thought we knew about the technological capabilities of the ancient world. The first thing the experts noticed wasn't the treasure, but the air. Usually, when you open a tomb that has been sealed for millennia, you are met with the smell of stagnant dust and decay. But inside Solomon's resting place, the air was crisp, circulating, and strangely ionized. Using advanced sensors, the team realized the entire tomb was built with a sophisticated ventilation system that utilized natural thermal gradients from deep earth vents. It was a self-sustaining environment that had kept the interior perfectly preserved. As the lights from their gear swept across the walls, they didn't see the usual carvings of battles or deities. Instead, the walls were covered in intricate geometric patterns that looked more like circuit diagrams or astronomical star charts than religious art. As the team moved deeper into the primary chamber, they encountered a phenomenon that stopped them in their tracks. In the center of the hall stood a large metallic pedestal, and hovering just a few inches above it was a crystalline sphere. There were no wires, no hidden supports, and no magnets visible. According to the preliminary reports, the sphere was suspended in a state of quantum-like levitation, likely powered by a localized electromagnetic field that was still active after 30 centuries. This is the moment the experts realized they weren't just in a tomb. They were in a high-tech vault. The level of wisdom attributed to Solomon in ancient texts started to take on a very different, very technical meaning. Scientists are now scrambling to understand how an ancient civilization could have mastered electromagnetism or acoustics to this degree. The walls of the chamber are lined with a rare form of obsidian that has been polished to a molecular level of smoothness. This wasn't just for aesthetics. Researchers believe these polished surfaces were part of an advanced acoustic resonance system. When the team spoke, their voices didn't echo in the traditional sense. Instead, the sound seemed to be amplified and clarified, as if the room itself was a giant speaker or a sensory chamber. This ties into ancient legends that Solomon could communicate with all living things. Could it be that his wisdom was actually supported by a sophisticated understanding of frequency and sound waves? But the most shocking discovery was found in the sarcophagus itself. When the team used a fiber optic camera to look inside before fully opening it, they didn't find a skeleton. They found a figure encased in a translucent, amber-like resin. The preservation was so perfect that the skin, the hair, and even the minute details of the clothing were visible. The man inside didn't look like a typical monarch of the 10th century BC. He was wearing a chest piece made of an unidentified non-corrosive alloy, encrusted with stones that pulsed with a faint internal light. This resin, according to the first chemical analyses, is a synthetic polymer that shouldn't have existed until the modern industrial era. The discovery has thrown the metallurgical and chemical communities into a frenzy. How is this possible? Some experts are now looking into the master architects mentioned in the stories of Solomon's temple. Ancient texts speak of the shamir, a mysterious tool or entity that could cut through stone with a single touch, leaving a surface as smooth as glass. In a side room of the tomb, the team found several bronze-looking cylinders that emit a low-frequency hum when handled. Geologists suspect these might be vibrational tools, the real-world shamir used to carve the massive stone blocks of the era with laser-like precision. This isn't magic. It's a lost science of vibrations that we are only just beginning to rediscover in our own laboratories. The wealth found in the tomb was also not what experts expected. While there was gold, the most valuable items were information modules. These are small, metallic plates etched with microscopic data using a technique that resembles modern nanolithography. When scanned with high-resolution imaging, these plates revealed maps of the Earth's crust, showing fault lines, mineral deposits, and even underwater topographical maps of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This suggests that the global reach of Solomon's empire was far more advanced than anyone dared to dream. He wasn't just a king of a small territory. He was a gatekeeper of global geological and geographical knowledge. The location of the tomb itself is a scientific marvel. It is situated directly over a rare geological intersection, where three major fault lines meet. Usually this would be the worst place to build anything, let alone a tomb designed to last forever. However, the architects used a floating foundation technique, using layers of compressed graphite and a liquid metal suspension to act as a giant shock absorber. During the recent tremors that have hit the region, the tomb didn't move an inch. The experts are calling it the greatest feat of seismic engineering ever discovered. It shows that the ancients didn't just understand the Earth, they knew how to dance with its most violent forces. As researchers analyze the liquid metal pool found near the entrance, they have made a startling discovery. The liquid is not mercury. It is a room-temperature superconductor, a material that modern physicists are currently racing to create in labs for use in quantum computing and hyper-fast transit. This substance, found in abundance in Solomon's tomb, suggests that the ancient world had access to an energy source that made our current electrical grids look primitive. The Golden Age of Solomon may have been a literal electrical age, powered by the natural energy of the Earth's crust. The psychological impact of this find on the team has been profound. Several members reported experiencing vivid, structured dreams after spending time in the ionized atmosphere of the tomb. While this sounds like folklore, neurologists are looking at how the specific electromagnetic frequencies in the chamber interact with the human brain's alpha and theta waves. It appears the tomb was designed to be a teaching center, a place where information could be transmitted directly to the mind through frequency-based stimulation. This gives a whole new meaning to the idea of a school of wisdom. Why was all of this hidden for 3,000 years? The inscriptions on the interior doors suggest a strategic concealment. Solomon, or whoever designed this vault, believed that humanity was moving into a period of darkness or scientific regression, and that this technology needed to be preserved until a time when we were mature enough to handle it. The discovery has ignited a debate about whether we are that mature civilization or if we have stumbled onto something that we aren't yet ready to control. The geopolitical tension over the site is already rising, with several nations demanding access to the vibrational tools found in the side chambers. Let's talk about the biological samples recovered. Aside from the resin-encased figure, the team found seeds and spores that have been kept in a state of suspended animation inside vacuum-sealed glass containers. When researchers in a specialized lab tried to germinate some of the seeds, they produced plants that don't match anything in the modern botanical record. These plants have a highly efficient photosynthetic structure, suggesting they were engineered for maximum oxygen production and nutrient density. This points to a lost era of bioengineering that was happening right alongside the building of the pyramids and the temples. The mystery of Solomon's wealth, the legendary 666 talents of gold, is also being re-evaluated. Some historians now believe that gold was a code for a different kind of value. The alloys found in the tomb contain traces of rare earth elements that are essential for modern electronics and space travel. To a person living 3,000 years ago, these minerals would have been useless. Yet Solomon collected them, by the ton. It's as if he was stockpiling the building blocks of a future civilization, knowing exactly what we would need thousands of years later. One of the most unsettling finds was a star map etched into the ceiling of the main chamber. Unlike typical ancient maps that show the stars as they appear from Earth, this map showed the solar system from a perspective outside our galaxy. It correctly identified the moons of Jupiter and the rings of Saturn, details that are impossible to see with the naked eye, and weren't discovered by modern science until the invention of the telescope. This astronomical precision further solidifies the theory that the wisdom of the ancients was based on observation tools that were lost to history, or perhaps tools that were never from our world to begin with. The acoustic shielding of the tomb is so effective that even the most powerful ground-penetrating radar couldn't see inside until the team was right at the doorstep. The limestone walls are infused with a layer of magnetized hematite, which creates a stealth effect. This is why the tomb remained a mystery for 3,000 years. It was literally invisible to our traditional mapping technologies. It was only through a recent breakthrough in modern tomography, which uses cosmic rays to see through solid rock, that the team was able to pinpoint the void where the tomb was hidden. As the experts dive deeper into the mathematical manuscripts found in the library wing of the tomb, they are finding evidence of non-Euclidean geometry and calculus that predates Newton and Leibniz by thousands of years. These documents don't just show that Solomon's people were good at math, they show that they understood the fundamental fabric of space-time. The equations describe the curvature of the Earth and the velocity of light with a margin of error of less than 1%. This discovery is a crushing blow to the idea of linear progress in human history. It proves that we have reached these heights before, only to lose them. The terrifying discovery that some reports have mentioned refers to a specific relic found at the base of the sarcophagus. It is a cylinder that, when activated by the local electromagnetic field, projects a holographic narrative of Earth's history. The narrative doesn't just show the past, it appears to project probabilistic futures based on geological and social cycles. Some members of the team who saw portions of the projection describe it as a sobering look at the repetitive nature of human rise and fall. It suggests that Solomon's era was the peak of a previous cycle, and that we are currently approaching a similar peak, followed by a potential reset. The Moon-Sun tomography data also revealed that the tomb is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the primary chambers lie miles of tunnels leading to even deeper vaults. These lower levels appear to be pressurized and filled with an inert gas, likely to preserve even more delicate artifacts. The experts are currently debating how to descend into these lower levels without compromising the atmosphere. They are dealing with a 3,000-year-old time capsule that is so advanced, we have to treat it like a spacecraft rather than a grave. The alloy analysis of the tools found in the tomb has revealed a combination of titanium, carbon, and a third, unknown element that doesn't appear on the periodic table. This element has a stable atomic structure, but possesses properties of both a metal and a crystal. Material scientists are calling it Solomonite for now. It is incredibly light, stronger than diamond, and can hold an electrical charge indefinitely. If this material can be synthesized, it will revolutionize every industry from aerospace to renewable energy. This is the true gold that Solomon was protecting. We also have to talk about the infrasound protection. Even after the tomb was opened, several researchers reported a feeling of intense dread and vibrational anxiety when standing in certain corners. Acoustic engineers found that the architecture is designed to funnel the natural wind from the valley into pipes that create infrasound frequencies below the human hearing range that trigger the fear response in the brain. It was a psychological security system designed to drive away anyone who didn't have the proper acoustic protection or attunement. It shows a level of malicious genius that is both impressive and frightening. The global reaction to this find has been a mixture of awe and panic. Religious organizations are struggling to reconcile the technological nature of Solomon's tomb with traditional theological views. Meanwhile, the scientific community is having to rewrite the textbooks on everything from ancient history to thermodynamics. The discovery proves that the ancients were not just building monuments to their ego, they were building archives for the survival of human knowledge. They were scientists in the truest sense of the word, using the materials of their time to achieve miracles. The liquid metal pool mentioned earlier is also being looked at as a memory storage medium. Some physicists believe that the molecular structure of the liquid can store information in its vibrational states. The pool itself might be a giant hard drive, containing the entire history of the Solomon era. The experts are now trying to figure out how to interface with the liquid to pull the data out. We are essentially trying to hack a 3,000-year-old computer made of molten rock and superconductors. One of the most vibrant discoveries was the color preservation in the tomb. The walls are decorated with pigments that are active. They change color based on the time of day and the amount of light in the room. This was achieved using nanostructures embedded in the paint, similar to how a butterfly's wings create color using structural light interference rather than chemical dyes. These walls haven't faded in 3 millennia, because the color is built into the physics of the surface. It is a living tomb, a space that responds to its environment. As we look at the geological risks associated with the tomb, we see that the structure is becoming more unstable since the seal was broken. The thermal balance that kept the interior crisp and dry has been disrupted by the influx of modern air. The experts are racing to install environmental locks to prevent the artifacts from aging suddenly. It's a race against time to save the very thing they spent centuries looking for. Every breath a researcher takes in that tomb is an oxidizing threat to the history inside. The star map ceiling also contains a coordinate system that points to several locations on the Moon and Mars. While this sounds like science fiction, the coordinates are precisely marked on the etched plates. This has led to some radical theories. Was Solomon's empire in contact with others? Or were the ancients simply advanced enough to have their own space observation capabilities that we have totally forgotten? The discovery is forcing us to be humble about our own place in the timeline of innovation. What did the experts find that was so shocking? They found that our modern age is not the first time humanity has harnessed the power of the earth. They found that wisdom was synonymous with science and engineering. And they found that King Solomon didn't just leave a legacy of temples, he left a blueprint for a level of civilization that we are still trying to reach. The terrifying part is the realization that a civilization this advanced still fell. It serves as a warning that technology alone cannot save a society if it loses its connection to the wisdom that built it. The mathematical manuscripts are currently being decoded by a team of cryptographers and physicists, rather than historians. They have found that the texts contain algorithms for energy harvesting that are far more efficient than our current solar or wind technologies. If we can apply these 3,000-year-old algorithms to our modern systems, we could solve the global energy crisis overnight. This is the power hidden in the tomb, not the power of a king, but the power of the laws of physics. As the team prepares to enter the lower levels, the mood is one of solemnity. They realize they aren't just opening a box. They are opening a Pandora's box of knowledge. The discovery of Solomon's tomb is a tidal wave that will continue to wash over every field of human study for the next century. It is pure brilliance hidden in the dark for 3,000 years. The moon's tomography scans have also shown that there are biological containers in the lower levels that are much larger than a human sarcophagus. This has led to speculation about what kind of life or genetic data might be stored there. Is it an ark for the species of the Ice Age? Or is it something else? The shock of the experts is only going to grow as they peel back the layers of this deep earth facility. In the end, the tomb of Solomon is a mirror. It reflects back at us our own potential and our own vulnerabilities. It reminds us that history is not a dead thing. It is vibrant, active, and ready to change the future. The shock that the experts felt when they opened those doors is a shock that every one of us should feel. We are guests in a world that has seen incredible things long before we arrived. The crystalline sphere that levitates above the pedestal is now being studied for its storage capabilities. Some researchers believe it is a quantum computer that uses light and frequency to process data. If they can turn it on completely, it might contain the voice of Solomon himself, or at least a digital reconstruction of his collective knowledge. Imagine being able to ask a 3,000-year-old king for advice on modern problems. It is the ultimate scientific discovery. As we wrap up this deep dive into the discovery of the century, remember that the mystery is only just beginning. Every artifact, every alloy, and every equation is a doorway into a past that was vibrant and technologically supreme. The experts are shocked because they have seen the impossible become real. And now, we all have to adjust to a new reality, where the ancient world was much smarter than we ever imagined. The liquid metal remains the most mysterious substance in the tomb. Its pulsating nature suggests it is connected to the Earth's heartbeat. It is as if the tomb is alive, a biomechanical organism that was designed to wait for us. And now that it is awake, the world will never be the same. The discovery is terrifying but incredible, a gift and a warning. Stay curious, stay aware, and always respect the wisdom of the earth. The tomb of Solomon is open, and the future is leaking out of the past. What a vibrant time to be alive, witnessing the rebirth of an ancient and advanced world. Thank you for exploring this mystery with me. The shambles of our old historical models are just the foundations for a new and grander story of who we are and what we can do. The seismic groan of the valley, the infrasound of the hallways, and the glow of the living paint are all calling out to us. They are saying, "Welcome back. We have opened the door, and now we must walk through." The experts may be shocked, but the discovery is ours to embrace. Let's build a future worthy of the past we have just uncovered. The golden age is not behind us. It is ahead, if we can only learn from the wisdom in the dark. Every scientific discovery starts with a shiver of awe, and the tomb of King Solomon is the ultimate shiver. It is a vibrant and limitless source of wonder. Let's handle it with the care it deserves. And let's listen to the hum of the ancient machines. They still have much to tell us. The journey is long, the risks are high, but the rewards are eternal. The tomb is open,